Hi, I think we are live. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are from. I'm Sam, I'm the founder and the CEO of Delenta. So we are today talking about something really interesting. It's about scaling your coaching or consultancy, or if you're running a therapy business, any sort of online consultancy business can really get benefited out of the content that we're going to share in the next 30 to 45 minutes. So, so we got amazing expert in marketing, Mark Harris, joining us today to deliver a very interesting framework. It's called Growth. And we are talking about how your business, some of the perspective of the business, some aspects of your business, some levers of your business can get benefited from. If you're looking at increasing your revenue, increasing your customers, number of customers you got, or maybe brand, where you want to go in 2023. This model really can help you to strategize and how you want to sort of grow in this year and beyond. Right. So before I go into the presentation, there's a few housekeeping tips I want to share. This is you please engage with us. If you have any questions, feel free to share with us those questions. We will ask those questions at the end of the presentation, of course. We also encourage you to share your experience and comments with us as well. So let's get into the webinar. Right. Okay. So before we get started with the actual event, out your presentation, um, uh, before we bring Mark into the stage, I want to give you a bit of an overview about Delenta, where we started, why we exist. So Delenta is a social experiment back in 2018. It was my side hustle to sort of make people, encourage people to share their knowledge and experience digitally on a platform. So during the pandemic, we found a lot of coaches, mentors, consultants using the platform for free to share their knowledge and experience. So that turned out to be another pivot or another step towards building a business for or coaching platform for coaches and consultants. So what happened during that time was very interesting. The people who came to our community who mentioned about that how expensive, how complex it is to run a individual business. So we tried to create this solution. This is Delenta, is the solution that we created for coaches and consultants, the solopreneurs, to run entire their operations on Delenta, on a one digital solution, rather than you have to learn a lot more about different solutions. You can bring all that operations into one place, and you can organize yourself, and more than anything, you can give a better customer experience for your clients as well. So it's a online, web-based and also a mobile app-based solution for your business. Right. So the most important thing in our business is actually the community. Like I said, we started with a community of experts, coaches, mentors who love to share that knowledge and experience, who would like to make the impact in the world. So today I'm joined by Mark Harris, who's an expert in marketing. I don't know how many years, Mark, you got. Hey, Mark, you're right.
Too many to share, Sam.
I don't want to really tell your age, but a friend of mine who's also using Delenta for his own digital coaching business, and it's a growth marketer as well. So, Mark, I'll let you explain yourself. I'm sure you have a lot to introduce.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm really looking forward to it. So my background is that I've worked for corporates and medium-sized companies, and eventually worked in 2 startups in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s, and learned a lot about entrepreneurialism, learned a lot about pivoting and changing and moving goals every 3 months, and learned a lot from corporate training about marketing and how to do it, and how to, how to structure things, how to look at businesses and the way to look at them through a growth lens and a growth model. So in 13 years ago, I set up my own business because I wanted to help smaller businesses have access to marketing and skills and experience that they probably wouldn't normally have the access to themselves. Because when you set up a small business, you do it because you want to do what you're selling in your small business. You don't do it because you want to do marketing. So yeah, here I am 13 years later. I've taken some right turns and I've taken some wrong turns in that process to get where I am. And so I'm a coach, a consultant, a mentor, and a part-time marketing director. So there's a number of different kind of modes that I work in, but ultimately it's about helping people to grow and grow their business, and also, trying to grow the people as well underneath that.
Yeah, no, interesting. I mean, we had, I sort of few, coffees ourselves, in person, and we
Yeah.
had, virtual coffees as well. So through the process, I learned that a lot about the way you look at how a business should grow, and how we, as an entrepreneurs, how we should look at that. What levers in your business should be pulled in right directions, isn't it? To scale. So it's interesting. So
Mhm.
I'm very, very excited about the next 30 minutes of how the value that we can add to those entrepreneurs who are joining us.
No pressure then.
Well, you're expert, Mark. No pressure.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So let's go into the presentation.
Yeah.
Right.
So what I'd like to do in the next 20 minutes or so is to look at businesses through a growth lens. And I know that we've got businesses of different sizes, individual, and different sort of maturities as well, I'm sure, on in the audience. So forgive me if this is basic for some and not advanced enough for others, but we're trying to find a middle ground here. But actually, what I'm giving tonight is sharing a couple of models that I think should work for all businesses, and hopefully it'll just give us a different perspective. Because as an individual who runs my own coaching business and consultancy, I can be so busy and so lost delivering, and so kind of tactical week to week, that I can't always make the time to be strategic and think about the plan. And so having these models has really helped me just to go, oh, okay, there's like a lens that you can put over the business and see how to, it just makes the business look different to you. So growth mindset is also very important, and we'll talk a bit about that. I'm sure many of the coaches on the webinar tonight will know all about that. The strategy, some of the tools, the tips and the frameworks, and then we've got a couple of examples of how coaches have used Delenta to scale and launch their businesses too. So we're very happy to take questions and answers as we go, or questions. Hopefully we've got the answers. But yeah, let's go through this. So it's pretty basic but fundamental, this. The concept of having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. It's really being committed and being understanding of the fact that we can all grow, we can all continue to grow. We're not just capped at our talent levels or our kind of skill set. We can all learn, we can all continue to grow. And if we have a mindset that is about growing for individuals, then actually we can apply that same mindset to our business. So if we have a growth mindset for our business, rather than letting it go organically or just see what happens month to month, year to year, actually having a strategic growth mindset really helps you focus and make big changes and big growth leaps as you need to. So it just encourages us to work on our business versus in our business, which we're all very, very good at doing. That's why we set up our businesses. And it's really, if it's not something that you can do alone, it's worth thinking about who you can get a kind of buddy with, who can help you, who can keep you focused on that strategic thought level about, okay, we're going this way, here's the strategy, how are we doing on that? Whether it's a virtual board of a couple of advisors that you regularly have mentoring sessions with, or it's just fellow coaches, or it's a community that, I know the Delenta community's probably got some very active conversations going on around this area as well.
Absolutely. I mean, this is I think the most crucial part of the running a business or growing a business, isn't it? It's so simple to explain, but most difficult one to maintain,
Yeah.
the growth mindset, because
Yeah.
it's all about ups and downs, right? Yeah.
Especially with the challenges now. I launched my business in the middle of a recession, 2009.
Right.
So I kind of just went out into the choppy waters. We've seen choppy waters way beyond that in the last 2-3 years, COVID, etc., and now inflation and all the other costs of supply chain difficulties, etc., for big businesses. So there's a lot of turbulence out there, and if you're not careful, you can get caught up in the turbulence, just trying to navigate through the storms. But actually rising above it and looking at your business from the top down, not from the inside out,
Right.
That's one of the challenges. But also, it pays big dividends if you can continue to do that, and you don't have to do it alone. It's regular check-ins, monthly, quarterly, to see how you're getting on with your growth strategy.
Yeah, maintain that mindset, right, throughout the journey. All right, shall we go into the actual?
Yeah. So for all the coaches in the audience, you will recognize the GROW model, which is a very popular and commonly used model in coaching. So it looks at the goals of the client, the reality of where they are right now, the options they have to move towards their goals, and the will. What's the desire and what's the plan to move them towards their goals? And what I've done here is to adapt it to include the T and the H to make the growth model. And the T and the H are really the enablers. So if the top 4 goals, reality, options, and will are your direction and your plan, then the technology and the help are the enablers that allow you to scale and deliver your plan. So we'll talk about each of those in the next few slides. So the first two, the goals and the reality, I've put a few points down here to just demonstrate what I'm trying to convey for the goal. So as a business owner, if you can do it every year, it's brilliant. It sets your sort of vision, which is, where am I going? So what do I want to achieve by the end of the year? What are my goals? What do I want to have happened? And who am I actually aiming for? Who are my ideal clients? Who do I really enjoy working with? Who do I want to write content for? Who do I want to kind of engage with? What makes me continue to enjoy the work I'm doing? So that's kind of all the goals area. And then the reality aspect is, where am I now? How do I stack up against other coaches? What's my uniqueness? What's my kind of niche? You probably all heard about that, but what makes me stand out? Whether it's the way you do it, it's the products that you offer, the different packages, the retreats that you might put together. How do you stand out? So that's the reality. And then what's your marketing like? What's your branding? What's your current growth plan and sort of strategy for that? And then also, what are your strengths? What's the weaknesses of the business? What are the opportunities for growth? And some of the threats that might be around and about that you need to consider. So those are the two, the goals and the reality of the business. And that's kind of the start point of developing your strategy. Where are we going and where are we now? Before we go any further, and while we're thinking of the future, let's go backwards. Let's just take a couple of minutes if we can, because we're all so busy doing the do that we often find it difficult to stop and reflect. And perfect timing in January to look back at 2022 and just have a think about what actually happened for you and your business. What goals have you achieved? And what have you learned? And let's just take a couple of minutes, and maybe if people want to share a couple of their highlights in the chat, then please feel free. But I just want to give us maybe a couple of minutes, Sam, if we can honor that, just to give people this chance. So maybe get a piece of paper or write it on your computer. But what's just happened for you in the year that's gone? What have you achieved, and what have you learned?
Yeah, time to reflect, right? I'm sure a lot more, especially coaches, I think they're really good at doing these reflecting exercises and maintaining journals throughout the year or two during the sort of their coaching, their entrepreneurship, of course. But what would work for you, Mark? Like, do you have a journal? Like, do you record yourself a lot?
I make notes on my phone, so
Right.
I use iPhone's notes, and so whenever I get the time to just go, okay, where am I going? What do I want to achieve? And your strategy is not locked and set in stone. It changes, of course, depending on all the things around us. But from for me, December is the time to reflect, and actually December seems to have run a bit longer this year. So I don't think people really got back into the groove of work till about the 9th of January. So we're kind of still in that reflective phase. But yeah, just I tend to go, I need sort of physical expansion. So I go for a walk and I'll reflect and I'll think about things that way. I'm not very good at kind of sitting down writing. I tend to have to be active to get the reflections going.
No.
How about you?
I hear a lot of good things about, like, outside, like I heard a company called Outside Coaching recently who contacted us. So there's a lot of activities, like, not in the offices, but how you can use your environment, right, like the nature, to connect with what you want to achieve and reflect on things. That's really interesting. I do make notes myself, actually. I'm a very conventional notebook guy. I have a bunch of notebooks I collect over months and years, but I still do not a journal, but notes, taking notes,
Yeah,
weekly
yeah,
basis.
yeah. It's good. And when you stumble across the notes from the previous year, it's like, oh, actually, yeah, that
That's
that did happen.
yeah. No, writing has some level of impact on your goals as
Yeah, definitely. If you put it down in some kind of handwritten format, then it does have more power around it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Teresa said, I'm just starting. So for me, it's getting virtual clients. Okay. So we will be talking about some of those things and construct a roadmap with everything I've achieved in this business with entail different models of delivery. Wow. Well
Great.
done, Teresa.
Yeah. I got a quick question for you, Sam.
hmm
Who do you sort of spar with? Who do you work with to kind of help you sort of bounce the growth ideas off?
Yeah, interesting question. I mean, mainly, as we do speak within the team a lot. Within uh, the team we got, because we have much more insights, within the company, what's happening. When it comes to the growth aspects, I'm very fortunate to be part of a coaching community where there are a lot of smart people, more smarter than me or entire team, if you collectively, if you look at, and they have so much experience, and we basically tend to speak with a few. It's more around the areas that we want to explore in the growth strategy when we define the growth strategy.
Yeah.
So that's how I tend to operate.
Yeah, and as a founder and owner, it's you do need that sort of almost like a board of non-execs or a mastermind group that you can tap into. Yeah, it's so important, isn't it?
So important. And the trusted advisory, right? Like that's what you're looking for. So most of the time, that person need to understand you, understand your business, understand the nature of your business, and then can be able to give a insight about what's happening and the direction that we're taking. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great. Well, we've had time to reflect, hopefully, and hopefully that's given you a little bit of a sort of start point to say, oh yeah, okay, I did do all right last year, and things did go to plan. So, and I did learn some things. So just a little opportunity to be mindful about last year before we move on to the next one.
Right, let's go. Right.
Thank you. So we're on to the O and the W of the growth model now. O stands for options. So what options do I have for growth? And this, I've got two models in here, which I'll share in the next couple of slides. One is called the product pyramid, and the other one is the 7 growth levers for any business, typically. Not all applicable, but it'll be a good framework for today. And then the will, which is, okay, having assessed all the options and looked at the kind of roadmap and things, what am I going to do? What's the actual plan of action that I'm going to document and start to take action on? And playing, testing, and learning. And that, the marketing world now is very much more experimental than it used to be. So actually, digital and all the different tools that you have to hand allow you to really test and learn and experiment. And if there's one thing I would encourage everybody to do, is to not be afraid of marketing, but actually treat it as an experimental zone, as a play zone. If something doesn't work, you're going to learn from it. You're actually just going to learn from it. It's not going to be end of your business. So just to debunk all the marketing myths that are out there, it's very experimental, and you can quickly control costs and respond to changes in market appetite and things. So thank you, Sam. So this is of the options section. This is the product pyramid, and this is a model that I learned about from a chap called Daniel Priestley. I guess many people in the audience may or may not have been to one of his seminars or read his books. Really, really smart guy, and his team called Dent. The company's called Dent. But the model that he shared was one that really resonated with me, because I've got a product background as well. And as service providers, or consultants, coaches, we tend to think of our business as we sell hours of our time to people to help them grow in whatever capacity that is. Beyond that, thinking of your business with products actually gives you a nice stepping stone of a ladder of products that people can work up to get deeper into your business, get to know you more. And so this model, this pyramid, is basically 4 layers, and the largest one at the bottom is free product. So anything that you create, which might be a downloadable product, a white paper, audio product, a podcast, all those things that are free to consume. That's where people get to know about you, get to like you, get to trust you, and go, oh yeah, actually this person speaks a lot of sense. They might be able to help me with my challenge or whatever it is. The first level of payment is the sort of starter level, the one above, and that's where people can commit to buying something from you. And it may not be a full coaching package. It may be a book that you've written, an ebook or something. And they can at least get more insight and more knowledge and more understanding of the way you work at that level before they become more interested in the coaching products, perhaps, or the consultancies that you offer. So the main core product is the one you spend most of your time delivering. And that could be, for example, a coaching session, or it could be a series of coaching sessions. And these price points are just put in here to give you an idea of the sort of price differentiation. They're not accurate in terms of market value. And at the top of the pyramid, where people have worked their way through these are kind of where your superfan customers live. They are the ones that will be coming on retreats, booking with you for long consultancy, or booking with you for actually long coaching programs. So it's more expensive in the VIP product section, and it requires more time commitment, both perhaps from you, but also from the client. Sam, does this mirror some of your Delenta offering?
Absolutely. Like this is, I mean, when it comes to product strategy, that most coaches consider at the very early stage in their coaching career to the established coaches, they have the similar model. So I'm glad. So you just share this, Daniel's priest is this pyramid, product pyramid. I absolutely believe, and that's where you can think about free appointments that you can develop coaching packages that you can develop.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
We're very lucky to have Sam with us today. He's not feeling very well, so he's nursing his froggy throat for us. Thank you, Sam.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, when you look at your coaching business or consultancy business, how are we going to sort of strategize your products around that? Some of the products are, you know, in these price brackets. I can sort of see the courses that people develop, and some of the coaching packages they develop, and then in-person group coaching memberships. So this nicely fitting in this pyramid. I mean, I wish I basically put those, symbols of each the product that you can actually develop on Delenta on this pyramid, and you can definitely, I can definitely see that VIP probably in person, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, like a
One-
retreat or something. Yeah, in-person retreat, 4 days or long weekend or something. Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Okay, so we're still under the options section. So what are the kind of things that you can do to create growth within your business? The 7 business levers. This is a model from the Marketing Center, and they advise SME and larger businesses in terms of how they can grow from where they are now to get to the goals that they want to achieve. So I'll just whiz through these 7 levers that we can consider looking at the business through. So lead generation is all of your marketing activities. So it's everything from pay-per-click Google advertising right through to, so we just did lead generation. I'll whiz through this in case we have another power cut. The distribution partners is how would you actually get to market? Do you need to go through a strategic partnership? Do you want to sell through a community? Do you want other people to sell your services as well? And this is something I did in the early days when I was starting out on my own as a coach and consultant. I actually knew that I didn't have the capacity or the desire to go and sell my services all the time. I needed to create indirect sales channels through distribution partners. So joined up with different consultants to help them and get them to refer to me and vice versa. And nowadays I've got 2 or 3 other indirect sales channels who will help me get work through that relationship. So have a think about whether you can grow through distribution partnerships. Referrals is referrals from customers and potentially friendly kind of colleagues and contacts in the community. Retention is to, as it says, to retain more of your clients, keep them for longer, and look at the ways that you can do that. Maybe there's some kind of communication work stream that can be run to keep them informed and engaged, so that actually when you do have a new product, they are the first ones to rebuy. Cross-selling is cross-selling different products. So if somebody's as we looked at the product pyramid, if they're at the bottom of the ladder, the bottom of the pyramid, then actually you might be able to upsell them to other products, the VIP retreats, etc. Another point to look at is your pricing strategy. So we've all got rising costs and prices around us. Are there things that you can do to package pricing differently, maybe value bundling things together, and or do you need to look at the sort of price points that you do offer and see whether the value that you're giving is reflected in the price that you're able to charge. And then the last lever is to look at how your marketing and sales is working. So typically for a bigger business, we look at the volume of leads that we're generating, which is the lead generation. And then we look at how good they are at kind of converting into clients. And so there's sort of a funnel of sales activity and marketing activity where you drop the leads in the top and they either fall out the funnel halfway down or they convert into a client. And actually looking at your effectiveness in those channels and those pipelines is really actually a pretty powerful thing to do, because you can make small percentage changes and it can make a big difference to your revenue.
Absolutely.
Is this something you do at Delenta, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, we probably use almost everything. I just want to say one more thing actually about, because if you're running a coaching business, from ethical standpoint of view, the retention is something to be careful with. Because it's based on ICF standards and most of the EMCC and the ethical standard of coaching. You are looking to add value and grow that individual and achieve the results quickly as possible, not to retain them. Having said that, if you're running a different consultancy online services business, this is definitely applicable. From Delenta standpoint, we really wanted to have customers staying with us for a longer time, and we keep adding value to them through different means, which we're going to talk about it a little later. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, I think spot on, Mark. Yeah.
I mean, these are just the sort of classic 7 levers, and they don't apply to all businesses, but it's a good framework to look at and go, oh, what am I doing in lead generation? What am I doing in distribution? Could I grow that way? Could I grow by changing my pricing? Depends on your goals, really. If your goals are revenue driven, then the pricing is one way to increase that and meet that goal.
Yeah, great. Another point I would basically mention is like two points here. One is due to this customer acquisition cost. If you look at recent years, especially after pandemic, recently I read that social media, the ad cost have gone by 66% or something for last 2 years. So ad cost, social media, if you're going to use Facebook ads or Google ads or any other ad marketing, it can be very expensive. But if you look at distribution partners and referrals and other areas that Mark's talking about, it could be really interesting to see how you can grow within those. The second point is about niche, how well you are thinking about your market, right? When you think about your goals and the strategies, how far you want to go into the market. Like you probably look at your market. If you're running a, I don't know, life coaching business, there would be a specific life coaching clients that you want to attract, and that basically help give you much more leverage or much better benefit, right? Advantage for what you do in that particular niche. So, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, definitely. I think niching and kind of low cost lead generation. Look, particularly now, like you say, when all the digital advertising prices have gone up, and there's so much more noise, and LinkedIn feels a lot more like a sort of marketplace than it ever did. And it's very there's still very cost effective ways to generate traffic to grow your business.
Absolutely. I mean, we as a community, when we started, we basically grew with the community. So we have a lot more referral marketing, and the partner network around us is very strong, right? So we encourage a lot more users to talk to other, their fellow coaches or consultants to, bring them onto our platform. So we use heavily those aspects. So yeah, great. Shall we go to the last two?
So the last two, which is probably your favorite, Sam, in terms of The T and the H that were added to the grow model. So that this is where we talk about technology and help. So we've looked at where you might grow and how you might grow, and the kind of opportunities for growth with the first four. Then the technology and the help are the ways that you can grow, the kind of enablers, the supporting platforms, and whether it's people or technology, that you can simplify your business, you can automate, you can scale. One of the biggest challenges with growing businesses is kind of keeping up with the pace of growth, whether that's with needing extra coaches to support to the delivery, or whether it's managing all the billing and all the clients and all the kind of ongoing dialogue in the client relationships. And so technology, and Delenta is a great example of that, where you can simplify all that jungled spaghetti that you've got in front of you, with all the different platforms and technologies and email marketing and websites and billing and invoicing and marketing tools. So I'll hand it over to you, Sam. But in terms of the help, I just think, again, we can't do this on our own. And even though we are solopreneurs, it doesn't actually mean you need to be all alone to do this. And one of the bravest things people can do is to ask for help, as we all know. So when you know where you need to go in terms of the growth, then think about the technology and the support that you need to get you there.
Absolutely. I think these two are going hand in hand. I'm glad that you sort of innovated growth model to the grow model to the next level, which is, I mean, not practically speaking, you need to have technology now for any business. Like, people believe that you can, somewhat run business through the notebooks. That time is
Mhm.
somewhat over, in my view.
Mhm.
The world is more into digitalization. Things are moving faster. You need to understand data, what information you capture, where is your the trends that you basically find in your business at the very beginning, right, at the very start. So and like you said, help, the community collaboration is so important, right,
Yeah.
than any other times. So people work remotely, so we can actually connect. There are other platforms, like Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. So, but it having a like-minded community is so important. So
Mm.
that's what actually we are doing now. So Mark, you can myself. So we are in a community, so you can always reach out and ask questions.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I appreciate that.
right. So what else we do? Like, I mean, this is talking about some from Dylan of view. We have today what we're doing with this sort of event like this, right? Mark was expert in our community, coming in and sharing his knowledge for free with everybody, and spending his time and knowledge and experience. So the same thing we do, like a weekly Q&As. We have our product teams involved in the Q&A sessions weekly. You can join in and you can ask questions, how other coaches are doing, where they are, in the landing page or website, etc. on Delenta. We have a spotlight, coach spotlight, which we do, podcasts, elevate webinars. So we have a lot more going on as a business, because we are a community. When we started the community, we want to stay at that purposeful business, the community one. So we do a lot more things to help you out, to take to the next level. Yeah. Yeah, so this is an interesting case study, Mark. I think you can sort of resonate with
Mm.
your story somewhat, right? Like, you of course more established, but most of the coaches who's just starting, or we have not got, like, they got multiple technologies to begin with, because one marketing person would say, what, go and do the website. Oh,
Mm.
no, we have to do SEO. Now you have to do ads. Now you have to do landing. Oh, we buy this landing or solution, web
Yeah.
solution, etc. So you are almost inundated with a lot of, overwhelmed by a lot more information coming out at you. So what we try to do is, we try to streamline that process for you. So this is a sort of a case study of Lisa Tyler, who was one of our coach, joined us a couple of years ago. And by the way, the picture of this lady here, she's not Lisa Tyler. I just want to make sure that it's just a symbolic way of showing early stage coaches. The idea was that how you can bring your booking calendar, website, your CRM solution, everything in one place. So when somebody book a time with you, it get recorded automatically for you. You can create a task to follow up with that person. You can, then give them a free coaching course or package for them to sort of experience what it looks like to work with you. Maybe initial coaching sessions that you want to do. All of this information will be captured in the system, which you can download as a uh, coaching log to share with your accredited body for certification, etc. And then you can bring all the other Zoom integrations, payment providers like Stripe, all that into one place where you can do, you know, you can create all these services that you can sell, you can promote for the with these users. So you can systematically look at your business organized nicely. If you have resources, you can bring those resources into one place as well. So that's what Lisa did, and she was really successful doing that. um, and then the next stage is scaling. So as you have all these tools organized or resource organized, what you will look at is how you're going to systematically grow your business. So I think product pyramid that earlier Mark was talking about, and
Mm,
excuse me, and the levers that you're talking about, they're nicely fitting in this kind of pyramid, the trend.
mm,
Initially you can create courses. When you're scaling your business, you want to have mass audience, right, Mark? You want to get more leads. You can create a free course, you can sell on Delenta. You can create a custom branded client portal, almost feel like they invite you in person to their to your coaching business. And
mm,
then slowly grow into the understanding of the analytics, how you can what these consumers will look like, clients will look like. You can bring them into a group coaching sessions, and from there you can go into the individual sessions, and then you can add multiple associates to your business. All these things can happen in one system without changing anything in your tech stack. Isn't it wonderful, right? Like, basically you start as a coach, you organize yourself, you systematically look at your business, and then you simply bringing individuals to your business. You know what?
mm.
Life coach, maybe a finance coach, health coach. That can happen on Delenta very easily. So
Great. Yeah, it grows with you. Mm,
this is where we stand Delenta from the start to the scalable level, where you probably end up by having hundreds of coaches in your business, right? You will coach corporates, you will coach mass audience with your associates. So starter coach to professional, premium, and team, these are the four plans that we got, and this each plan will add value to your coaching business based on the stage that you're at. So we are the only platform that basically provide this journey for you to basically grow in this such way. So it's much easier, effortless, and like Mark said earlier, sort of how you can define your goals for this year. Like if you're thinking about the goal of achieving having a two or three coaches because you want to increase the revenue in your business, because you want to have more products, that's where it can really we can really help as a technology provider. Now, um, so going into the little bit of details, the tech chaos that earlier, the spaghetti that the image you're talking about, Mark, right?
mm, mm,
You can look at adding multiple tools, connecting them together, working and learning those, right? How long it will take. Or you can hire a person, right? Now we know, because of this cost crisis that we have, right? The VAs, and other individuals are expensive, so you need to know how to use them for their best of their ability for your for you to grow. So the technology like Delenta is basically bringing all that together and organize yourself and eliminate all that hustle of connecting all that together and figuring out and hiring people to do certain things like building a website to linking to Zapier to all that. We done that. We got everything sorted for you. It's just matter of using the platform, start use the platform. And that's why we actually thought about like doing a lifetime deal. And this is a very limited time. You can go to our pricing website and you can see. I'm sure if you're showing some interest, please contact us to info@dinner.com, or you go to our website to learn more about this. You can simply inquire about this opportunity. So this is all about helping your business in 2023. And if you're a startup coach, this will be wonderful lifetime deal. You pay one amount for the entire life. You don't have to pay monthly, so it's going to save so much money. If you were to pay today, standard, it will be around 249 or something for a year. So this gonna save for 5 years of cost. I don't know, thousands of dollars basically.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
yeah, so that's bring us to the end of our event. So please, we have a quiz that we have created for you. I encourage you to take that quiz because that is going to help you to analyze your business today. What Mark was talking about at the beginning, when you're reflecting in your business, around your business, where you're going. This will be a good exercise for you to sort of answer these questions, to analyze where you are today, and then you can connect with us if you're having questions, and we can help you to scale your business. Yeah. So, Mark, anything else you have?
So where is the quiz on delenta.com?
I think we are sharing that quiz already
Okay.
on these channels. Yeah. So it's delentaquiz.com. We just shared that on to these social media channels. So if you're watching us on Facebook or LinkedIn or Google, sorry, YouTube, you will see that link appearing right now in the
Mhm.
chat screens. Yeah. So otherwise, go to www.delentaquiz.com. That's it. Yeah. Um, this is I hope this is a very informative event presentation for you. Mark, thank you so much your time, spending your time with us, sharing your knowledge and experience.
Pleasure.
Uh, I learned a lot about these levers, how we should basically think about, like you said, increasing customers, revenue,
Mm.
growth, branding. So, and what products you got, right? How you're going to price those ones.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
So,
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And apologies for the halftime technical break that we had.
yeah, apologies for that. Not sure what happened, So, but yeah, this will be recorded. And if you have any questions, guys, come back to us. It's info@dinner.com. And yeah, we'd love to help you and grow your coaching business. Yeah, so on that note, I say thank you very much for joining us, and see you in the next event. And
Thanks very
follow
much.
us on LinkedIn.
Good to see you.